You know I'm a hustler, hustler. You know I'm a hustler, hustler.
Hey, it's your boy Lo. I'm back again with another special episode. I have my man here, Caleb Fouss. He's a young and up and coming entrepreneur, a father, a husband, a coach, and I would say a lifelong learner, and many more things that we're going to find out today. Welcome to the show,
Thank you for
Caleb
having me.
Fouss.
And thank you for having me. This has been a long time coming. I think I've probably bailed on you like 2 or 3 times. I'm just an asshole. That's just the easiest way to put it.
You know, podcast is one of the funnest thing, also one of the hardest thing to do because
Absolutely.
uh, the the people that I'm interviewing, this is the last thing that they want to do is talk, right? They're busy with their life, they're busy this and that, and you know, most people can't keep a schedule like you, man.
Yeah, yeah,
That's just when it come down to it, that's just the reality of it. Some people are
absolutely.
winner and some people are whiners.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm very honored. I'm very honored to be here. I'm excited. I'm ready to see where the ball rolls.
So man, tell tell me something that I don't know about you.
Ooh, okay. Business related or not?
Business and personal, they're all the same, and it's life, you know. So
Okay, okay. Um, well, you don't know. I suck at golf. That's one thing you don't know. I'm terrible at golf. But the other thing that you probably don't know is that I actually own a company with my mother-in-law, which means I work with my mother-in-law most of the time. Yep, yep, yep.
how how's that dynamic work? Is there a dichotomy going on every day to going to work?
I'll be honest. The first 2 months of it, it was the first season of it, right? I've been an owner for the past 2 years. I've been here for the past 4 years. The first 6 months, probably the first year, sucked. It was horrible. We felt like we could never, and like you said, personal life and business is the same. However, when you're working in a family business, there has to be that separation and conversation where you can go, we're being serious right now about business, right? We're not going to keep joking around about stupid stuff right now. And so for the first year, it was really difficult, and it definitely pushed me to my breaking point quite a few times. Um, it wasn't until we really set boundaries. Honestly, we just set hard boundaries, like not like boundaries like, hey, we're not going to talk about personal lives inside of this office. No, it was more like when we sit down for 30 minutes to have a discussion at work, it needs to be only about work, and
Mm.
that's it. And once we really discovered that, we just started getting that what do you want to call it? Tranquility, that yin to the yang. It was perfect. We started chugging along. She does her stuff, I do my stuff, never step on each other's toes. And probably the last 2 years, it's been awesome. We work excellent together. And when I tell people she's my mother-in-law, people are blown away.
She's your mother. In-law.
Yeah, mother-in-law, she's my
In-law, not
wife's mom.
in-law, like she's your mom.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolutely, absolutely.
Right? Right.
Yep.
So that's cool, man. It require a level of communication, a level of
Patience.
understanding, a level of patience, a level of empathy to
Yeah.
work with your family. And
Hmm.
especially to own a construction business with your family.
Yep.
That's never easy. My wife worked in the business with me, so I have a little bit something to say about that. But at the end of the day, man, as long as it's work, and you guys found something that worked, that's all it really
Hmm.
matters, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So so when last we talked,
Yeah,
you say you had a kid. How old is
I
your kid,
did.
man?
I did. We had a beautiful baby girl in January of this year.
How's that changed your life?
Oh, complete 360. It's both changed my life drastically, but it's also not changed at all. Like it's changed my life drastically because we have to do everything differently, right? Prior to baby, we literally, me and my wife had a very, very, very habit of dropping what we're doing on Friday afternoon, going, hey, let's go to this state, or let's go here, and let's go spend the weekend here. And it was very flexible. We lived very flexible lives. I lived by my calendar. If there wasn't something on my calendar, you won't catch me at work, you won't catch me doing anything. I will be going off, like probably hopping and skipping through a state park with my wife, right? So I've become very much more meticulous in the way I work and the way I schedule and the way I operate on a daily basis now with the baby. Um, Calendar blocking is huge. I literally, my calendar, if you would look at it, if you didn't like organizing your calendar and you looked at mine, you'd flip. Most people do, because I have it color coded to the extreme, right? I have every single part of my life like blocked out so that, one, I can be able to focus on work when it's work time, and two, I can focus on baby time and wife time when I have that time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense, man.
Yeah.
That's something that I still struggle with.
Yeah.
Keeping a schedule for me, not for
Yeah.
everybody else. But we gotta respect everybody's time, and everybody want your time. But when it's
Yep.
everybody, I can keep the time. But when it's me, myself, and that I need to get shit done, I'm like, whoo. Oh, let me, it's when
Yep.
ADHD
Yep.
kick in, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, let me just
absolutely.
work on this over here a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh
Yep.
fuck, I forgot to send that email. Let me switch over
Yep.
here. Oh,
Absolutely.
forgot to put the permit in.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, the thing that I set out to do, I ain't getting any of that done.
Yeah. It still happens. I mean, as much as I can continue trying to calendar block my entire life out, it's always gonna get messed up. It's always gonna be fucked. But I don't know. There's something a part of me that I love the adapting, right? Like every single night when I like write down what I need to work on the next day, I know the next night when I sit down to write another list, 50% of the stuff that I wrote last night is going to be on the list again because I didn't do it. But I just I love staying I love staying on top of things, right? So like, although I may not do what I was planning on, at least I know it. Is that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. For a young guy like you, I'm incredibly impressed that you're doing all these thing, or you coaching people. You got a little thing going on for yourself there,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't learn about keeping a calendar until I'm like in mid-30s, you know what I mean? But is that say something about the character, and where you want to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because to me, I can look at a person calendar and tell exactly if their life is going somewhere, or they're just doing the same bullshit over and over and over
Yeah.
and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Right? So that's really interesting, right?
Mm.
The kinda is management to me is priority management, right?
Yeah.
If it's not important, it's probably not going to make its way to your can,
Hmm.
whatever color scheme that you use, right? So
Rainbow. No, I'm kidding.
right, so to me, it's probably I probably break it in four category,
Hmm.
but there's shit that I'm like, well, I'm not doing this. Somebody else can, right?
Hmm.
That don't make my way onto the calendar. So
Yep.
how did you get into entrepreneurship, man?
Sure.
Tell me
Oh,
a little bit about that.
ooh, I love this question. I love this question. Um, Really, it all starts in college. I have a 4-year degree. I was on campus living in a dorm room for about 2.5 years. I I grew up. I did not grow up poor. Like I'll be the first to admit, I did not grow up poor. I didn't grow up rich, but my parents, put us through private school. Um, and then I made the stupid decision to take out a bunch of student loans and go to a private Christian school because, it's what I was felt like I was groomed to do. And so here I am with all this private school, private university debt, sitting in a dorm room, I have no idea what I want to do with life. And I was a complete punk ass kid. I mean, giant diamond earrings, weed, high all the time. I was an athlete, played baseball, and although it was a Christian university, let me tell you, it was crazy. It was still wild. Like, um, we got me and the other guys. We just got in trouble a lot, and I knew a few of the business professors before coming into the school because of mutual relationships, and the first freshman year of college flew by. Almost got expelled twice. It was great. I had a great time, but I realized it probably wasn't the best. Um, but it wasn't until probably my sophomore year, a college professor, a business professor, sat me down and he was my counselor, whatever you want to call him, and he was like, "You're just a shit show." He's like, "You really need to get your life together. You're gonna throw it all away." And I was like, "What do I care? It's my student loans. Like, I'll be fine." And then I almost got expelled again, and I had to meet with him as a part of my punishment. And he basically was like, "You're going down a hole you can't come back from. Good luck." So I left the office, and you know, I had never really had a relationship with God up to that point. And I really prayed and I was like, just tell me what I need to be doing. Like I have no idea what to do. Like I want to be a real estate agent. I want to sit in an office and just, have a 9 to 5. I have no idea. And I just had the business ownership, like I had that business ownership feeling come over me. And so then it came to my prayers shifted to, Lord, lead me to what I need to be doing. And TikTok had just came out at this time. I'm that young. TikTok had just came out at this time. And my TikTok feed was full of people doing vending machines. They would go get vending machines and place them on locations. And, it would be an amenity to the business location and you would take all the profit. And I'm like, I can do this. Easy. And so I went to try to get my first vending machine before even, setting up business or anything. I was an idiot. And of course couldn't afford it. I said, "Hey dad, can I get some money to do this thing?" He was like, "Absolutely not." And so back to square one. I cold called probably 100, 200, 300, hundreds of people before I actually called a management company. And I was like, "Hey, I'm Caleb Fouss, Fouss Vending. I'm interested in placing a vending machine on your business location as an amenity to your customers." And this guy on the other line goes, "Caleb Fouss, did you play in double A baseball with Micah?" And he said the last name. And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "That's my son. You know, I'm so and so." And I was like, "Whoa." He was like, one of the coaches on the team. Like, we were probably 13 years old. And turns out he gave me my first shot, placed a vending machine in one of his his business locations, one of an office building. And that was the start. From there, I placed 7 more. In the sophomore year, I was inside my dorm room, ran the entire vending machine company out of my dorm room. Saturday morning, I'd go to Business Costco, which was about 20 minutes from my university dorm, get all the stuff I needed. And I actually had to go to Costco twice because I didn't have a big enough car to haul everything from my locations. So I literally would have to go to Costco at 7 a.m., get everything I need for a few locations, drive an asinine amount of miles, come back to Costco and do it again, and then be back Saturday night to my dorm room. That is a very long story, but that was my start to entrepreneurship. Fast forward, I sold my vending machine business about 3 years later. So actually, when I turned 21, I sold the business to a larger one, and that was the addiction. The addiction was the building, the growing, and the selling, and it consumed me. It was awesome.
Man, so that's a lot to unpack there, man.
I did. I always get carried away with my stories.
No, you're fine, brother. Uh, so you were what, 17, 18,
I was
and
18 when I started it.
how old are you now?
I'm about to turn 24.
So about 6 years ago, per se, right?
Yeah.
Uh, 6 years ago, you saw somebody on TikTok, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the fucking TikTok, man. You got an idea
Yeah.
and you executed on it. That's a short
Absolutely.
story, right?
Yep.
That's a short version. What I got from your story is, and correct me if I'm wrong, right here. There is some courage, which is very important to take any idea from idea to implementation to execution, right? And you did that. You utilize your resources. You had grit to keep going till you get your first deal, right?
Hmm.
And then you probably get a knack for selling, man. Fundraising, crowdsourcing, right?
Yep.
Am I right, or
Oh,
am
you're
I
spot
being
on.
too far off here?
No, you're
So
spot on.
so what happened after that, man? What happened after you sell your little gig in no, not little, your big deal in vending machine? Right? What you got your mind on after that?
Like again, you're spot on. And to be frank, it was a little gig. Like when I look back at it as a success because I did it from my dorm room, right? If I had done it at 23 out of like an official office, my house, it would have been a massive failure. Terrible. Um, but it taught me all those things. And here's kind of where the problem started though. When I sold, um, I didn't know what was next. I had the itch to continue building my own thing, but I didn't know what. I knew it needed to be in construction because all through college, I worked a construction job. I worked as a laborer during the summer. I got that itch for construction. I loved building things. Post college, right, just about as I sold the vending machine business, I got my job post college, and it was working for a general contractor. It was kind of like an assistant to the PM position. So, I was driving to 6 sites a day. I was coordinating everything. Um, it sucked working for somebody else. It did. And that's where the itch never stopped for entrepreneurship. And my mother-in-law actually was like, "Hey, I need some help in I need some help in the operations side." And she had been running this company by herself for 20 years, and it would just had plateaued for about the last. And she was like, she actually tried to convince me to come on after I sold my vending machine business. She's like, "Come
Mm.
on right away." And I said, absolutely not. I'm not going to work with family. I'm just not going to do it. And after going to work for somebody else a couple years, it was actually my boss at that general contracting company who, when I told all of this to, he called me the most selfish prick he's ever met. And I was like, wow, okay. He's like, that's selfish. He's like, you know how many people here would kill for an opportunity at a generational company? He's like, do you know how many people would kill to work with family and be able to continue building a business? And that day I was like, okay, I told my mother-in-law, I'll do it. I'll come on. And that boss was like, I'm not taking your 2 weeks. You're going to start Monday at your mother-in-law's. Beautifully enough, I still talk to that guy, that boss that called me the most selfish prick he's ever met. But that's where I went next. I came over here. I realistically just implemented a lot of systems that this company was lacking. We doubled in size the first year, did it again the second year. I said I want in, bought into ownership, and now we're about a year and a half into ownership. And again, we are growing at a hyper net growth year over year over year. And we're a very niche commercial construction company. So it's easier to do, but it's harder to do. Again, I could continue talking about entrepreneurship forever and how I got into the school of blue collar and all of that, but I'm talking a lot.
Hey man, that's because you have a good story, man. You have a good story, and there's something to be said about going after your dreams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you went to college, obviously didn't like working under somebody, and once you're that type,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely.
When I was working at corporate, like once I get in power, I don't listen to anybody. It's got to be my way, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and then I like a job where I'm judged based on my merits,
Mm-hmm.
not by experience, not by experience, not by seniority, not by how long you've been here. I like a job that they can judge me based on my result. What
Mm-hmm.
what did I make the company today? What did I save the company today? Did I bring in more money than I got paid?
Mm-hmm.
So a job like that can really uh, hone in into your, I call it entrepreneur skill, because
That's
you're
good.
actually building a business inside a business, because you treat everything, all your tasks, all you that you have to do, all your result like a
Mm-hmm.
business, right? So marketing, sales, that's the front end of every business, right? Those pretty much judged by merit. Operation is more like, now it's the people are in here, the deals are in here. How can we
Mm-hmm.
split A out to the Z side? So
Yeah.
operation is more by an hourly thing, a salary thing, right? But sales is like, if you're good, you don't
You're
have to
good.
if you're good, your 2 hours
Yeah.
can be somebody 40 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment that I realized that, I'm like, it's not about the time that you put in, whether
Yeah.
people want to believe it or not, that the world is kind of not fair. The people that have the skill, they can produce so much value within a few hours. But if you don't have that skill, and if you're not willing to train for that skill, then you can work 40 hours and not done shit.
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
I see that a lot more in like when the corporation get too big and then the owner get too far from the front line. If you don't know something is wrong, you're too far away,
Yep.
right? Uh, but then again, man, go back to going back to the resourcefulness, which I think you are very resourceful, the courageous, which is, I mean, you 24 running. I don't know how much how what's the size of your business. It's probably multi-million-dollar business.
It is,
Uh,
yeah.
you have grit, tenacity, and which is going to segue into what you're doing right now. You're coaching other people.
Yeah.
Tell me
Yeah.
how's that experience been for you?
It's been better than I could have ever imagined. And it it's really like most of the things I've done in my life. Uh, I've been almost stubborn or selfish, and I've waited until somebody has told me, "Hey, you should really do this," or "Hey, I really need this." And it's how I got started. It's how I started the School of Blue Collar, which really segues into coaching. I started School of Blue Collar because all of these guys at college would were kind of starting to look up to me because I had built a business, and now I was in the construction space. And so all these guys would come to me and be like, "Hey, could you help me start this business? Could you help me do this? Hey, I have this business idea. Hey, could you give me your thoughts on this?" Right? And so I started becoming a resource. And then I really realized, I really recognized my calling from God, and it was really to serve people and serve people that I'm passionate about. And the people and the things that I'm passionate about is the blue collar. It's getting your hands in the mud. It's the guys and girls that are really fucking good at the trade they do and they work at, but they suck at business. Those are my people. And that's how School of Blue Collar started. And it was just a community that we poured into each other until guys started asking me, "Hey, would you work with me one on one?" And I was like, I guess, sure. and and that's how it started. And I, the first guy asked me, he trusted in me, killed it with him, and you know, that was literally in January of this year. And since then, I've worked with so many guys, and we've just had a blast. We've had a blast helping them not only be good at their trade, like I said, but now learning how to kill it on the business side. Just set a good foundation. It's simple stuff, but it's powerful.
Hey man, I'm a king of simplicity. Sometimes people say can't be that simple.
Yep.
That's when you know you're right because people can't make sense. How can we make it that simple, right?
Hmm.
Simple is simplicity is there's actually uh an art. It's almost like an art form to simplicity, right? Um, that's amazing, man. I wanna commend you on giving back to the community and within the construction industry, right? What you describe is people are really good with their hand, really
Hmm.
good with what they do, but doesn't know or maybe didn't grow up or just they don't know what they don't know, right? Anything about
Yeah.
business. That's like 99% of the good. That's like
Yep.
99% of the construction industry, right?
Yep.
So so guys like you is gonna take over in the future because the industry is dated. The industry
Yeah.
is about 20 years behind. The industry doesn't have enough marketing integration, doesn't have enough of sales integration, doesn't have enough technology integration, doesn't have enough of business integration, doesn't have enough KPI integration, doesn't have. It's more like they're sole proprietor all across the board, but they're that missing step that gonna propel them to be business owner instead of a construction worker. So that's the mindset that I think for you is that's the mindset that you have to get some of these guys to flip over. I'm like, goddamn, look at your book once a week or something, bro. You
Yep.
know.
Yep.
So people are always gonna find peace in the comfort, but as you know, if if you feel too peaceful, something is wrong. Something is always wrong. You
Yeah.
know, if
Yeah.
there's not a thing going wrong today, I'm like, God damn, something is really going wrong. What's going on? You know?
Yep.
Uh but
Absolutely.
but that's great, man. And I think the best feeling is I've recently just started coaching. The best feeling is when somebody say, "Hey, man, I took your advice and did this and this and this and that, and it's really changed the way I do my business. It's really changed the way I do sales. It's really changed the way I do marketing, and it's really changed the way I look at things." And that's all I'm here to do is to influence people to maybe not go like this, but maybe look over here a little bit, man.
Yep.
Keep looking, right? Changes are hard. Changes will require sometime. I Sometimes I tell people that it's hard because you don't have a new identity. It's
Okay.
hard because you don't fire your future self to step into your future self. So that's why smoker can't quit smoking because they're still smoker. But the moment that they decided they're not smoker anymore, they don't smoke. It's a really easy but hard mindset shift. Like I've seen people do a 180
Yep.
because it's just something just one day just click, right? It's same for me. One day it's just like, you know what? I don't need to be going out to job site anymore. What I need to do is pounds on marketing, recruiting, and sales. So that I'm more valuable that way. But it doesn't click until it's clicked.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say about that? You think mindset is about 80 to 90% of the game?
Absolutely. I think it's all about the shift. Absolutely. I think once the shift happens, nothing will change. Even though I'm trying to make this make sense. The mind shift is the first change, but it won't really change anything in your life until you're actually consistent. Um, and I'm very guilty of this too. Really, like you go and you make like this whole proclamation of your life and be like, I'm going to turn into this person, and I'm shifting my mindset to do this, this, and this. And then you do it for 3 weeks, and after 3 weeks, like you just slowly start to just sink right back into what you were doing. It's like, what happened? And it the answers range. And especially they did for me from, well, I got bored. Well, it was too much. It was too hard. Uh, it wasn't fun, right? It's all just a whole bunch of bull crap. And I'd like to compare this to like 75 hard a lot. You'll see a lot of guys on Facebook doing 75 hard, all of that. And it's like 75 days straight of discipline. I have yet to complete a 75 hard. I've done 30, I've done 40 days, I've done 30 again. Like, right. It's just a pure example of a human's brain isn't actually wired to be consistent for that long of a period of time. I'm a very firm believer that our body needs to relax, our mind needs to relax. So then again, it goes back to what I was saying about being very, very disciplined with your time. If you're disciplined with your time, I'm a firm believer that everything else will fall into place. Right? So you can shift your mindset all you want, but if you're not actually going to set a plan and follow through with that plan, shit's gonna burn to the ground, and your whole mindset shift just took 6 months off of your life and didn't do jack squat for you. That's my thoughts.
Now, man, it's a valid opinion, right? Because we all guilty of it. We set some big goals, but
Mhm.
then we don't set small enough, sizable,
Yep,
chunkable,
there it is.
mini step to get
There it
that big
is.
goal. So then, if we don't do these mini step right here, then fuck halfway into the journey, like
Mm-hmm.
fuck, it's like a mountain right here because you know you didn't chew up fucking the skin on the chicken,
Yep.
and now you have to eat the whole thing. It's like it's hard, right?
Yep.
So the guys that wins, that from what I've seen, is the guys that wins is they have commitment. So
That's good.
so commitment is one of those things that it's a buzzword, but
Mm-hmm.
once you make a decision to commit, everything will follow, because if you commit to something, you will be consistent with it, and nothing is realized without action. You can have like I'm I'm a firm believer that most of the planning is bullshit. Most of the planning, when people talk about planning, okay, cool, show me your calendar. What happened
It
after the plan,
it's bullshit because they don't actually stick to a plan.
right?
It's
Show me your calendar after the plan.
yeah.
Show me what you do daily, weekly, monthly, and then we can talk about if the plans are good. Something is
Mm,
better than nothing, but nothing is realized without action, and action is what cure anxiety. If you're
mm-hmm.
anxious about something, what's the best way to not feel anxious? Go get whatever it is that you're anxious about done.
Yep.
And most of the time, man, these it's not just young people, man. It's young people. The older you get, the more stubborn, the more harder it is to flip the chains on these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm talking about all y'all. Uh, because like, well, Ron, I always done it this way, la, la, la. Well, your way ain't shit. It's obvious it doesn't work. You have any deal
Yeah.
coming in, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Well, so and so always done it this way. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
look at their bank account. Ask them for their P&L. Do you have money?
Yeah.
So there's there's something to be said about the consistency, the commitment, and the action to follow through, which
Mm-hmm.
is, for us entrepreneur, we have SOS. You know what that is?
EOS or SOS?
SOS.
No, I don't think so.
Shiny object syndrome. Once you got an SOS, I'm like, bro, you got like 10 motherfucking things going on. Like, who are you? Are you a marketer, or are you a floor? Are you a general contractor? Like, there's
Mm,
no. So that just tell me that people are confused.
yeah.
People are confused. So that's great, man. I enjoy seeing young people out there grinding and crushing it and giving back to the community. And as a coach myself, I always pray for patience.
Mm,
I always pray for patience. I always pray for understanding and empathy, because sometimes That's the reason why people get into coaching in the first place is because they don't know. And sometimes I expect people to know shit because that's a certain requirement to work with me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I've kicked people out before on my mastermind. I'm like, bro, you ain't done shit. And if you ain't done shit, you're not gonna be in here.
Mm-hmm.
So I am very strict on that part. If I give you an assignment, you better do it because in every season there's a season of obedience and there's a season of creativity and there's a season when you say fuck everybody. I am so
Yeah.
convicted of what I'm doing, of my ideas, my action, and I'm just so convicted of myself that none of these motherfucking ideas matter. And I think every entrepreneur had that one moment when you went to seek counsel, right? And then this person, right? Well, in my opinion, you shouldn't do that. And this person,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, in my opinion, you should go all in, or oh, in my opinion, you should do just a little bit of that and do a little bit of this over here,
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, man, in those situations, you have to pray for a gift of discernment to know who's right, not
Mm-hmm.
who's right, to know who's real and who's fake,
Mm-hmm.
right? And most of the time, what I find is doesn't matter how many coaches you have, doesn't matter how many advisors you have, it's still your own shit.
Yeah.
And it's still your own shit that you need to pick up and do.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, nothing matters because it's your decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows shit.
Yeah.
Nobody knows shit. They can help you at a certain point in time, but at the end of
Mm-hmm.
the day, you have to be able to know be self-aware enough to know where you're at, and then just
Yeah.
go all in. I think Dana White say that's the best. It's like fuck everybody.
Yeah.
Fuck everybody because nobody knows shit. Nobody gonna give a shit of your success more than you are. So you need to pick something. And
Mm-hmm.
this is the hard one for people, right? You need to pick something that you like and you can imagine yourself doing forever and just put all your egg in one fucking basket. That's my philosophy.
It I've never heard the philosophy put that way because a lot of the times when we talk business, I have a couple thoughts. A lot of times when we talk business, you hear people going, like, especially as a subcontractor working with general contractors, people going, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't only work for one general contractor. Uh, you know, let's talk to the entrepreneur who's starting to start a business. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Leave room for other doors to open. Right. And it's like there's a time and a place. I mean, again, I'm only 23 years old, so I only have so much life experience on this earth. But there's one thing I know is that for anything and everything that the advice you get, there's a time and a place for it to, you know,
100%.
and it's like, should you not put all your eggs in one basket as a subcontractor? Absolutely, because that's general contractor can burn you and probably will burn you. And you know, a young entrepreneur, you want to put all your eggs in one basket and just freaking go for it? Do it. What does it matter? You're young. You got lots of life left. Guess what? If you fail, you can try again, fail again, try again, fail again. I and back to what you were, also my second point is you mentioned passion, and it's like so many people like don't realize that you can monetize your passion. Literally just do what makes you happy and find a way to make money with it. It's wild. It's wild. I wish so many more people would realize that.
Oh, of course, man. Like this is there's a lot of distraction in the world,
Hmm.
and And at the stage that I'm in now, I never seen anybody that get rich by doing 7 things.
Absolutely.
They get rich by doing one thing and one thing
Mhm.
well, and then they get bored and they go start a bunch of other shit. But they already got shit right here, right? They don't
Yep.
they don't diversify right when
Yep.
they come up, right? This
Yep.
is where they say fuck all this shit. I'm
Mhm.
building something, right? And I think that needs to be communicate more in the industry is because basically my point. Don't listen to any TikTok that talk about diversify.
Yeah.
You don't need to diversify, and you just need to go do some shit. Go get biz, do biz, get paid
Mhm.
enough to where you can diversify. Because like I see it a lot of time is like, okay, when you can invest in your business, when you can just double your business, all of a sudden 200,000 become 400,000. But then when you take that little money that you had that you make over the year, you go buy a maybe like a apartment property. Now you just created a second job on yourself. You take away the time when you just double your business
Mhm.
and do something passive on the investment side. So there's a lot of example like that. When I see people get to a certain level, oh, now I'm gonna open a supply store. Like, why, bro? Why? Why? You don't even have a sales process. You don't even
Yeah.
have a marketing funnel, and you want to open a supply store?
Yep.
Like, cool, do it because all the cool kids are doing it because you heard somewhere in the convention that, oh, we gotta be vertically integrated, we gotta be,
Yep.
yes, in due time, but right now you need to fix your business first. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think in construction, the 3 to 5 million is the hardest because
Yes.
because you don't quite get enough of the org chart fill out to have a full team because you can't support an overhead
Yep.
that high on a $3 million revenue. And second is either people don't know how to get to 5 million because they don't have their sales process and all this shit is not optimized yet,
Yeah.
or or they it's get too hard because
Mhm.
now you have to pay what I call management debt when you get to a 3 to 5 million. Okay, how can we manage these people, right? So
Mhm.
there's a management debt and there's an ignorant debt. You don't know what you don't know, and these are where most people they don't seek help.
Yeah. No,
They
I,
don't.
I
Wouldn't
yeah.
you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. And we are about right in that. It's so I've again a couple things. I actually do have a TikTok I want to show you about diversification, but I've never heard somebody say 3 to 5 million is the hardest. And it's so true because we're about like right in the middle of that right now. And this is, I mean, this year will probably surpass the 5, but it's been the absolute hardest because exactly what you said. It's been a balance between, okay, let's bring on some more office staff. Oh, we can't afford that much office staff. Okay, let's bring on more crews. Let's add a couple more crews. Well, we literally cannot handle any more crews because I'd bang my head against the wall. Like I can't. We already have 20 employees. If I bring on any more until we get somebody else in here to help manage them, I'm gonna bang my head against the wall because love them all to death, but that's just a lot. Like you said, management. And but once I think, like you said, I see other businesses at that between that 3 to 5 mark. However, they've been there for the past 2 to 5 years. And it puzzles me because I'm like, don't you want to push past that? Like, don't you want to? But no, they're content with knowing that they can't afford any more office staff and that they can keep all their crews busy, right? They've literally given up and just become content. It's yeah, that is what's puzzling to me. I don't know what buzzword I would use for it, but maybe they just, they lost the courage or they don't have the grit or both, right?
Um,
But it
it's good enough. Good enough.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
not. It's not
that's
great.
exactly
It's not great. I make a few 100,000 a year. It's good enough.
right.
It's good enough
Right.
to until it ain't good enough anymore. So this is why I tell people like people gonna people will get frustrated because if you're not growing, you die. People will
Mm-hmm.
get like why because if you can push past this part and get to 5 to 7 to 10, and when you get to 10 is when you have enough spread in
Mm-hmm.
your GP to go hire maybe a GM, maybe a department leader, so yeah, and you can have a true org chart flowing, and you can have, but you can't have that at 5 million. You can, but you know, but it's gonna eat into your overhead, and if you can't sell and you can't market, and if you add too much overhead and you can't keep busy, you know what you're gonna do? You're gonna go belly up because you run out of cash. And then
Mm-hmm.
most people they don't know how to balance right here, right? Do I add more sales or do I add more production? If I add more
Yep.
sales, then I have to need more sales guy, more lead. But if I add more production, then how do I keep them busy? So it's like,
Mm.
but the true answer is you have to do both.
Yep.
The true answer
Yep.
is you have to do both, and you have to like man, last year was a grind for me, bro. Like we did five, but it was a grind. But
Yeah.
then something clicked, right? I'm like, but this year I hired two sales guy, hired one project manager, because we have the lead to support it. Now we have
Mm-hmm.
the brand to support it. So so I always encourage people at $3 million or below, your goal needs to be at 10. Not because I want you to be this big whiz, la la la. Your goal is to be at 10 so you can remove yourself from the business. You can remove
Mm-hmm.
yourself right now, but what happened when I see people do that is, they're on a growth trajectory, and then all of a sudden you add $100,000 or 200,000, however much they want to blow. You add that salary, and let's just take it right out of the bottom line,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then they don't do anything, and they don't manage people, and most people build out their business too early, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I have capital, okay, cool. I'll go hire all this position. I'll just use the capital to pay for my management debt right now, so I can
Mm-hmm.
just be profitable and I can use that to pay back. But most of the time, the guy in construction, they ain't got shit. They ain't
Yep.
got like nobody want to invest in a company like that. So
Mm-hmm.
what do people have to do? Okay, now you got to sit down. You got budget, right? And you got a budget. You got to do all this shit that, oh my God, a real business owner have to do. Oh, how sad,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And and
Absolutely.
I got I got so passionate talking about this because when it come down to the grid like this, and I go over some chart account with them, I go over like the numbers with them, and it's like, yo, you can't do math. Like
Something's wrong here.
how did you survive this far?
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean that just mean that you blast with a lot of work and just enough margin.
Yep.
You don't have a pricing model. You don't have nothing. So let's start from the beginning. right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but that's, I like that's just too much. I'm like, I seen very so-called, and don't believe anything you see on Facebook. Okay, Uh,
Oh
the
no.
the P&L and the balance sheet tell a lot. Um, a lot of people are masquerading at advisor coaches and anything like that. They took their eyes off the ball and they have failed businesses and they have
Mm-hmm.
audit because they don't do math. I think that is the basic fundamental skill in business. But I even put that over sales, over marketing. Because what you
Yeah.
do in marketing, Caleb, what you do in marketing, you look at lead costs.
Mm-hmm.
What's that require? Oh my God, that's math.
Yeah.
Well, what you look at in sales, your pricing model. So you have a
Mm-hmm.
GP, your set rate. So you make sure you maximize on all the lead, your close rate. So make sure you maximize on all the appointment and your customer success rate.
Yeah.
That's a metric that nobody track. That and your LTV, are people returning or
Mm-hmm.
are they referring? So all those, well, what does it require? Math.
Math. Yeah. Or a really, really great accountant. A really, really great person in your corner. But you don't have the luxury to do that until you make enough money.
Yes, and this is I went to a convention last year and these guys are doing nine figures, down
Mm-hmm.
Florida. I think Brian Kasowski or whoever this run it and all these guys they know all these business owner, they're accountants, all of them are
Sure.
accountant and finance. I mean, they have accountant, but they're true accountants, right? They
Yeah.
know their number.
Yep.
They can tell you how much the lead gonna cost, what their close rate is gonna be. So they run
Yep.
their business by their number.
Mm-hmm.
So I always highly encourage people to go take an accounting course. Just accounting 101. You don't need to know much, but you need to know, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I took accounting in college, so I know how to run my own numbers. And when I get to show guys how to do it, it's like, oh, didn't know that. And I was like, pretty simple actually.
Yeah.
But I guess I wanted to rewind quickly back to our topic about diversification, because what you're talking about now, it can all, like, taking yourself out of the business, trying to do more than one thing, it can all really be all tied back to you're putting too many eggs in too many baskets. Um, I love the analogy of, and I heard this analogy from a professor years ago. I never knew where the analogy came from until I actually saw a, don't kill me, TikTok. I saw a TikTok of it.
Sorry.
It was of Alex Hormozy, and it was this pitcher of water analogy. And in this analogy, he takes picture of water and a bunch of cups, right? And the analogy goes that pouring the water in the cups, if you're doing too many things, none of the cups are full. But if you focus on one thing, fill it up, next thing, fill it up, you're actually going to be a lot more successful. I would share the video, but I don't think the Zoom will let me share the TikTok on my screen.
Yeah, I think I've
But
seen it.
yeah, it's really powerful. And like you said, you only have to focus on one thing until you are great at it. Then once your cup of water starts to overflow into the next cup, you can start focusing on something else. And I use that analogy all the time because as a young person uh, that's doing a lot, I've I have quite a lot of opportunities, right? And that's not to sound conceited, but there's a lot of opportunities that come my way. There's a lot of opportunities I say no to. And because although they may sound great, they may look great, I'm a firm believer that I do not need to walk through every door that opens. I just don't, because I don't want to tie myself up with too many things. And spiritually, I firmly believe I'm only going to walk through a door if I feel led to walk through it. Door may be small, door may be huge, but if I feel called to walk through it, I'm going to come running.
Yeah, man. Man, you got such a great insight for a young person, but I don't care how young, how old people are. If
Yeah.
you good, if you good, if you the shit, you the shit, bro. You know,
Yep.
it's just what it is. And tie back to the the resourcefulness. You're very
Hmm.
resourceful. You're very kind, very courageous, and you have consistency and commitment, and you know, to back all that up, you got action, man.
Hmm.
Action. Without action,
Yeah.
nothing is realized. You know, I'm always a firm believer of, like, I suck at planning. You know what my plan is? Oh, let's do 5 million this year.
Yeah.
How
Yep.
do we get there? I don't know. Get fuck ton of lead. You know, or how do you get fuck ton of lead? I don't know, but I know how to do it. But I'm gonna figure it out. But I'm gonna get twice the amount of lead that I need
Yeah.
to get to 5 million, because that will allow me to sell from the position of power. So that's what I did. Same thing this year. Oh, let's go 10 million. How do we do that?
Hmm.
I don't know. But let's figure it out. So that's the
Yeah.
fun. That's like that's just me though. I can't speak for everybody, because
Yeah.
a lot of people love a good business plan, but my business plan is very simple: get biz, do biz, and get paid. Okay, you want double your business, get 2x the business, do 2x the
Yep.
business, get paid
Yep.
twice.
Hmm.
And that's I don't know how simpler I can make it, but really that business is not hard. It's all this is why I love accounting. You input a set of number, it spit out a set number. You know, it
Hmm.
doesn't discriminate if you Asian, you white, you black, you blue, whatever. If you have a set of number and you put it in, it's not, oh, they don't just take a
Yep.
10% out because you white. They don't take 20% out because you're Asian. The number don't lie, right? So that's
Yep.
why I love accounting. I
Hmm.
love accounting. And then one other thing that I wanna leave with
Yeah.
the listener is, if Caleb Fouss right here, he's 24 years old already. I would call him a serial entrepreneur, you know, and there's something to be learned from guys like him, because they gonna take. I call guys like you and me, I call us white collar, blue collar,
Hmm.
because we
Like
work
that.
like blue collar and we work like white collars.
Hmm.
So when you get the work ethic, and when you get the brain to go with the work ethic, then you're unstoppable, because you can work hard and you work smart. And working hard, as you know, if everybody got rewarded for hard work, like, all the concrete people will be rich,
Yeah.
but they're not.
Yep.
So then you got to learn how to work smart. Who got paid the most?
Hmm.
The person that think, right? So want to leave people on that note: think more and do more. If you're thinking, don't just like, oh, now I'm thinking, I don't do shit. Think more and do more to break through.
Okay. How am I limited to how many words I get?
The stage is yours, man. Go ahead.
uh so probably 3 months ago, you spoke on one of my calls, and you said something that I have written on my wall. It's in my office here at my shop. It's in my office. It's in my cubicle over there. It's in my home office at my house. I wrote it down and I look at it every single day and I preach to every single person I come into contact with some few adjustments. If I give advice to anybody, the advice would be to operate in everything with urgency. That is it.
Oh, oh man. Oh, you calling out like shit. You
Yeah.
calling out like
Yeah.
six, I would say 96% of like the contractor right now.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Oh, oh man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we didn't touch on that because I feel like I beat around that horse a lot. Like speed, 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 right? Yeah, so I I would say that if there any one thing that we can implement in anything that we do is urgency and this is for me it's come naturally because I came from Vietnam in a
Hmm.
communist country and it was very rough out there. Everybody hustling, everybody. So I always operate with like somebody is gonna take it all away from me tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's gonna be another law that's gonna come up, and they're gonna operate just a tiny bit quicker than me, a tiny bit faster than me, a tiny bit more, because more a tiny bit more precise than me, right? Just a tiny bit, but like that tiny bit though, within our industry, when you're bidding job and shit, that tiny second that you pick up the phone quicker, that could mean a $30,000 job, and
Absolutely.
that $30,000 job may net you around the neighborhood, may net you another $100,000 in job.
Hmm.
So I have no idea why people don't want to be the first.
Yep. Absolutely.
Speed to lead, speed to proposal, speed to close, speed to production, speed to collection.
Get shit done and show me the money, baby.
That's
That
it, man. That's all. And right now, like it's funny you say that show me the money because in the beginning stage of my entrepreneurship life, I beat around the bush when it comes time to collection, right?
Hmm.
Well, when is a good time for me to come over and do a walk around with you to make sure everything is okay? Now I'm like, hey, Ken, where the fuck is my money? What
Yeah.
the job's done? Well, I have just a little thing over here. I'm like, that's a $300 problem. I'll send the crew next week, but I want my money now.
Hmm.
It's actually written in the contract is as majority complete. If the job is
Yeah.
majority complete, that's my money. And
Mm.
And usually it's just one little issue, callback quality control or
Hmm.
whatever. But I'm like, you know, and it's funny when I analyze people balance sheet. I'm like, why the hell do you have 100,000 in receivable? What well, they say they're gonna pay. I'm like, give me the fucking phone.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy.
Like
Yeah.
one of my sub, like I was talking to him, man, this guy, man, it's been 3 months. And last time I had to show up at his house, and I'm like, like he still hadn't paid me. I'm like, how much? 2 grand, like, and it's been how many? And he keeps saying, like, I see the text message, right? So all I did was I took his phone. I said, like, when does it make sense for me to show up at your house to pick up my final check? Dude got
Hmm.
paid. He got paid the next day.
Yep.
So be the squeaky wheels get the grease. Don't be afraid to collect. And I tell people like if you're running 10% net profit and you have 50% of the receivable, they're actually holding on to 40% of your money, of
Yep.
your revenue, and they holding your profits as well. right? So get that
Mhm.
money back into your pipeline. And oh my God, you wouldn't believe how many people, I'm not gonna name names here, but they can't collect.
Yep,
Yeah. So
absolutely.
what do you want to leave the show with? I urgency is a good one. What else,
Hmm.
man? What else? What else?
Like this question. I always like coming up with something that's first top of mind. If I were to speak to anybody in general, whether they're 50 or whether they're 20, it would probably be to lead with empathy, but not sympathy.
Oh, ooh, ooh.
Yes, that's it. That's you ask how to be a good leader, whether you're 20 or 50, it's be empathetic, but don't throw sympathy out.
Explain that to me. Explain the difference
Sure.
between empathy, which is the understanding,
Right.
of other people' point of view,
Hmm.
whatever. What is sympathy? I mean, I see. I think sometimes like, man, English not my first language, so can you like,
Yeah.
break it down for the ESL people?
Yeah. Just like you said, if me leading with empathy, it's that I understand where you're coming from. I understand that an employee may be having a tough time at home. I understand that, you know, this job didn't go as well as it could have. But if I were to lead with sympathy, I would say, oh, this guy's having a tough time at home. I'm going to cut him a whole lot of slack, a lot more than I would if I led with empathy. Or I'm leading with sympathy. So, hey, this job didn't go as well as it should have. Don't worry about it. I completely understand, when they come to me and say, well, boss, this went wrong and this went wrong and this went wrong. Oh, I get it. I totally understand, right? No, like empathy, I understand and I feel you, right? Like I get that that sucks, but I'm not going to feel bad for you enough to where I'm going to tell you it's okay for not doing your job. And that's what I think leading with sympathy does. I think when you lead and you really do sympathize and not empathize and not have empathy, when you have sympathy, you're literally being like, it's okay. It's okay you
Mm.
didn't do your job well. It's okay that you
Oh,
didn't do your job correctly, right? But if you led with empathy, you can say, hey, I understand that this happened and this is the result, but let's figure out how we can overcome that, right? You're having a tough time at home. I get that. Maybe we need to cut your hours back, right? Is that something you need to do? Or can you come to work and focus on work? You did not run this project effectively. What can we do to make sure that does not happen again, right? That's leading with empathy.
man,
It,
what a great insight from a young gun. Um, because here's uh here's where people go berserk about this. Well, Mary, she's so nice.
mhm.
Even though she suck at her job, but let's
Yep.
just give her another quarter to get her shit
Yep.
together. Well,
Yep.
Joseph, he's okay. He got the job done, but he show up late and he's pissy with the client. But I can look past that. He's
Mhm.
actually producing the work. Oh, how about Jim, the sales guy? So his clothes are just shit, but people love him. He just can't seem to be closing any deal. Maybe I should let him run for another month. These are all sympathy. These are
Mhm.
all because you don't want to make a tough decision. You don't want to have a tough conversation. you don't want to make the decision that is beneficial to the company that
Yep.
is disciplining whoever that's not doing their job or simply fire them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then now you enter what I call a culture a cultural death.
This is the same people. This is the same people that are saying, "Well, these employees are like family to me." You
Uh,
just lost.
yeah, like I don't like to use that word when I'm talking about like yeah, we family, but you still this is a business. This is not a
Mm-hmm.
charity. And I fire people for that for just mm, misalignment with culture,
Mm-hmm.
because what is the cost of you keeping that employees versus getting somebody right in the right seat? How much
Mm-hmm.
would that change your business? How much would the right sales guy change your business? How much would the right office manager change your business? How much would the right project manager change your business? How much would the right accountant change your business? How much would the right finance guy change your business? How much would the right
Mm-hmm.
coach change your business?
Yep.
But those are the top conversation that nobody want to have, but I have no problem having that. You know why?
Yep.
Because I reframe it. It would be devastating for 90% of people that do good work when you're slacking, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
It would be devastating for the rest of the company if I didn't have this conversation with uh drop because he starts selling bullshit work that gonna hurt the whole company. I'm not,
Yep.
hypothetically, drop, I love you. But but it's those conversation that need to, hey, I get where you're coming from. I totally understand. But based on your performance, these are what need to happen so you can be well in your job. So hopefully that will spread out to home. I got a PM that going through divorce right now.
Mm-hmm.
I got a PM. I got a sales guy but those I can sit here and listen to you. I can talk about home life all the time, but when it's work, it's work. I'm open ear to listen.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's business, this is where the saying go, it's just business. No, it's not just business. It's you caring for other people, for the rest company by letting that person go or by disciplining them or by that's not just business. That's love, bro. That's
Mm-hmm.
love. But if you're not in it, you don't understand. So you just gotta like reframing of how to have those conversations, right? So man, it's so great talking to you, man. We gotta run this back on your podcast.
Absolutely. No, I really appreciate you having me on. It's been an honor, and I can't wait for more conversations with you.
Man, I think you're gonna be like a rock star here in the next 3 years. I'm I have a knack of seeing into the future. So, but
Well, I
I'll be there with
appreciate
you.
that.
I'll be there with you, brother.
Yes, you will. Yes,
All
you
right,
will.
man. Hey, be blessed. Don't be stressed. Get biz, do biz, get paid. Okay.
Hey, it's been great, brother. We'll
All
see
right,
you.
man. Let's talk to you soon. Bye.
You know I'm a hustler, hustler. You know I'm a hustler, hustler.